Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the A-Side. I am your host, Riley, and I'm actually your very excited host, Riley, because today, one of my favorite bands, Gorillaz, have put out a brand new song, it's called New Gold, and it features Tame Impala and a fella by the name of Bootie Brown. I've never heard of this Bootie Brown guy. But Damon Albarn tends to bring the best out of his collaborators. Now, I myself am a very huge fan of Gorillaz. I have been since middle school. They're like the second or third band I really ever got into, and they're the first band or artist kind of outside of the pop punk or emo sphere that I started to fall in love with. When I first started getting into music, it was a lot of stuff like Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. The My Chemical Romance were kind of my stalwarts. And Gorillaz was one of the first bands to kind of break me out of that. I still remember going to get Humans day one. And I think Gorillaz are one of the few bands out there that have never put out a bad album. Now, some people would say the Now, some people would say the Fall, some people would say Humans. Love all those records, especially Humans. Actually, I think Humans is a great record. And it really shows off Damon Albarn's versatility as an artist, I think. Sure, maybe it's not super heavy on Damon himself, but shows that he can make songs with all these different artists and have it feel like a cohesive album and do all these different sounds and styles so well. And I think that's a microcosm of Gorillaz as a whole. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Gorillaz, huge fan of Damon Albarn. If you watched my 2021 albums of the year, The Nearer the Fountain made my top 20. I think I had it at number 7. I'm a fan of Blur, although I do prefer Oasis. But Gorillaz tops them all. And Tame Impala I'm very familiar with too. I don't listen to Tame Impala as much as I used to in maybe my sophomore, junior year of high school. But I would say I'm a fan. I've heard all of Kevin Parker's albums. I own The Slow Rush and Inner Speaker on vinyl, Currents on CD. All records I'm very familiar with, and I'm surprised Gorillaz and Tame Impala have never worked together before. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later if you want. Anyway, let's do this. New Gold. I didn't hear Cracker Island either, so if you want to hear me react to Cracker Island, leave a like. Okay, going to that more electronica direction for this song. Oh, those synth pads are gorgeous. Super. Wow! This grooves, oh my god. So, the opening of that song was so blissful and beautiful and psychedelic. Kevin slipped in onto that electronica psychedelic sound so well. The electrics almost reminded me of a vibey or more psychedelic Plastic Beach. And I think Kevin Parker slid right in on that perfectly and was a perfect marriage, I think, of Gorillaz and then Currents era Tame Impala. What a great opening, and then immediately coming into Bootie Brown's verse here, and the groove is insane. It bops. It's got a really good flow too. It's kind of low key. It's interesting. He's got this low key kind of performance. Meanwhile, the beat is super danceable and bouncy and do, and he's just kind of chilling. It's interesting. Oh, this hook is beautiful. I just want to listen to more Tame Impala, man. I kind of fell out of listening to Tame Impala a year or so ago. I really should listen to him again. Used to be a really big fan. Still like him, but boys ready to mayor like Sean, he's a writer, took on it there, now he's singing like Oh, I forgot to mention, Song Machine was actually my album of the year 2020. I think was the first new release, and maybe it was. It was the first new release I gave a 10 out of 10. And I think I've only ever done that twice upon new releases. Um, Song Machine, and then for the first time. I think the only two albums upon release I gave 10 out of 10. It's not like a classic retrospective review. And compared to that record, New Gold is really holding up. This is a really interesting mix of kind of Gorillaz Plastic Beach-esque electronica with those cool sounding kind of beachy vacationy synths and the more psychedelic sides of Tame Impala and Kevin Parker's work, reminding me a lot of Currents and the Slow Rush. Meanwhile, Bootie Brown's doing his own thing, and it's such an interesting marriage of all these different sounds and everything I love Gorillaz for. These synths, all of the synths on the sound sound great, but it's really the bass line that's working for me here. I really like that. Hey, there's Damon. He's got that kind of weepy melancholy that he brings out as Tootie so well. Songs like Broken or Al Manana or Aries. Gorillaz is always at their best when they're doing the kind of weepy melancholy thing, in my opinion. Which is another thing I can commend Damon Albarn for so much, is he has his hand in so many different projects, but they're all so distinct from any other project. You listen to Blur, and then Damon Albarn as the frontman of Blur, and then Damon Albarn as 2D, the singer of the virtual band Gorillaz. And if you didn't know any better, they're night and day. They're so different in their personality and execution, and I find that so impressive how he can transform himself so well. And then you listen to his solo stuff, and it's like completely different from the other two. And I'm pretty sure he's part of another band. Is it The Good, the Bad, and the Queen, right? Or is that... Yes, The Good, the Bad, and the Queen is Damon Albarn's. Last of the Shadow Puppets is Alex Turner's side band. I get him confused sometimes. I haven't listened to The Good, the Bad, and the Queen, actually, but I would assume it's the same for that. So it just shows you how massively talented Damon Albarn really is. And I think coming on to Gorillaz after Blur has really let him spread his wings and experiment and flourish with his music, being able to make whatever he wants. And not having to bounce off of other band members or kind of stick to the Britpoppy rock sound. Not that I don't love Blur, because I do, but I just think Damon is so talented, and Gorillaz is an avenue that lets him bring out this experimentation and really just go absolutely wild. And this is a good example of that, a mishmashing of so many different sounds, and different artists you'd never dream would be together. I love Kevin Parker's vocals. They really have such a psychedelic feel to them. Wow, I loved every second of that song. Every facet of it, every moment was just amazing in every way. Contributions from all three parties were all firing on all cylinders. And Damon Albarn, like I said, usually tends to bring out the best in his collaborators. I mean, you look through the list of the people he's collaborated with and how amazing all of these songs are. I mean, and how various they are. I mean, look at like a record like Plastic Beach. You've got Snoop Dogg and Little Dragon on the same record, and Lou Reed all featuring on the same record. You take a look at Humans, you've got De La Soul and Caliuchis and also Noel Gallagher. So, he's worked with so many different. I mean, Song Machine's the perfect example. You've got Six Lack and Elton John in the same song. A couple songs earlier, you have Peter Hook of New Order, Beck, and so many different people. I mean, Earth Gang and Slow Tie. He's so talented. I cannot get over, you know, I adore Gorillaz. I could talk all day. I own almost their whole discography on vinyl. I own all of it on CD. I don't have the Fall on vinyl. I don't have the Now Now on vinyl. But I have all the rest on vinyl. I actually just picked up Humans, so much so that it's not even out of the wrapping yet. I haven't got a chance to spun it. People shit on Humans. I'm going to sidetrack for a minute. If you want to go, you can. People shit on Humans. I love this album. I mean, maybe it's just nostalgia. It's might be the first album I ever bought day one. I think it is the first album I ever bought day one. I bought Death of a Bachelor really close to when it dropped, but Humans was the first record I bought day one it dropped. And that was a long time ago now. It was like, what, 2017? 5 years ago? Yeah. That was a long time ago. This record has always held such a special place in my heart, but I mean, She's My Caller, Busted in Blue, Let Me Out, Carnival, Sex Murder Party, one of the most underrated Gorillaz songs. I'll do a review of Humans one day, maybe a Gorillaz ranking. But if you haven't listened to this album, or haven't listened to this album in a while, give it another shot. It's so fucking good. Probably, it was top 3 until Song Machine. Once again, I gave that record a 10. I don't think Humans is quite a 10, but it's like a 9 minus. Anyway, enough of my tangent about Humans. I could talk about that record all day. I could talk about Gorillaz all day, honestly. My least favorite Gorillaz album is actually probably self-titled. Or, actually, it's probably The Fall. I think The Fall is interesting. Self-titled has a lot of good songs, but really nosedives by the end. I think those last couple of songs. Whereas The Fall maybe doesn't have as many standout songs, but creates a very interesting sound, a very interesting vibe. Damon made it all on his iPad. But now I'm just going on a complete tangent. I love this band. Anyway, let me know what you thought of New Gold. I'm probably going to actually record a video about Cracker Island right now. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.